Okay, so we've dealt with the first two phases. We came back and we talked about inspiration. We just got done dealing with instruction, or teaching people how to go from A to B. We now get to talk about the invitation, extending the invite. In the world of sales, we call this closing. In the world of influence, we call this completion. We call this the ability to take someone who has experienced a connection and trust with you, open a possibility, and in that possibility created a possible solution to their pain, a possible solution to their problems, a possible basis of healing for disease they're experiencing, and a possibility of taking them from something that is not working to something that is working by the utilization of a particular product, a service, or experience. Now let's take this to the next level then. The next level then is to go into invitation. Now, people have spent millions and millions and billions of dollars in the world of sales. Marketing itself doesn't sell. Marketing opens a space to sell. In the game of sales, or moving into the game of being an authentic influencer, we change the game from selling to influencing. We change it from a conversation of closing to completing, and ultimately the third phase of being an authentic influencer, which is to invite. Invitation is an interesting deal. It's amazing to me to be around a ton of different people in the sales profession. Individuals who truly are authentic influencers, who have a deep connection with their product, their service, and experience, and have a deep connection with the people they're communicating with. They understand that not everybody is their prospect. They understand that not everybody is their client. They understand that not everyone is going to be into what they're doing. So what they do, though, is the following. They're willing to create and extend an invitation to those that it makes sense for those that they feel there is an alignment, that their product, service, and experience will take a person from A to B, will take them from what's not working to what is working, to take them from pain to pleasure, to take them from disease to health. So in this space of creating that as a possibility, selling or closing was about using particular scripts and systems to get people to move from A to B. In the world of inspiration and the world of including this game of inviting, we conclude our session then with a person by extending an invitation for them to come play. I like to use the word play because in the conversation of getting paid to play, this is what it's all about. At GarrettJWhite.com, we've launched entire games like this to talk about what it is to get paid to play. What does that mean? How does that work? What is the basis? What's the experience? So for you in looking at this then, what we get to look at right now is what does it mean to invite? The first thing we get to understand is that when we're inviting someone to take their next step, we're extending to them an opportunity to complete the possibility that we've created. Now, if the possibility makes sense to them, then the next step will be natural to come to you. But because of people's fears and doubts and worries, our certainty is absolutely necessary. Our certainty in ourselves and our ability to transfer that certainty to someone else. So let's look at this. In the beginning stages, what I would come in and I would, as a salesperson, what I would do is I would offer up and say, okay, so there's really only one option, and it's option A. So either you do A or you do nothing at all. What I came to find out, though, is there was power in offering people options. So I would come in and say, well, one option is you could do A. The second option is you could do B. Now, getting into this game, I did this for years. I felt like a profound professional in the world of influence and had sold and created millions and millions of dollars of revenue for our businesses and for companies I was working for and for my own businesses in coaching tuitions and mortgage sales and real estate investments, etc. All of this based on the ability to offer up two options. Here's what I came to find out though. When a person's only given two options, when the mind itself is only given an A and a B, that creates what we call a dilemma. It ends up being a game of this or that. It's a game of either I choose this game or I have to choose this game. And a dilemma creates a confused mind. A confused mind gets paralyzed to action. So what I've learned through one of my mentors, Julie Keene, in the process of neuro-linguistic programming, was the process of creating a third option. So consider that an authentic influencer is not about creating just one option or two options, but it's about creating three options. A third option truly creates a space for agency. It truly creates a space for choice. It truly creates a space for you as a consumer or as a person hearing the instruction. ready to receive the invitation, it gives you the power to act on your God-given ability to choose or to exercise agency. To exercise the capacity and the whole purpose you were placed here. So what exactly are the invitation sequences then? Consider there are 3 available options in any situation with any particular client and any particular prospect that you're meeting with. From multi-level marketing organizations to life insurance organizations to building organizations to whatever your company organization is. When I'm engaging another person, I get to create for them 3 particular choices. In creating these choices, I now produce what becomes possible for them in that equation, and that is options. And where there are options, the mind opens up. And an open mind is willing to suspend beliefs and doubt and to rely upon trust about what feels good in the moment to the natural knowing and telling them that this might be the next step. The first thing we lay out is what the current path is. My responsibility as an influencer is to make sure that they are very clear. My current path is heading this way. If you're okay with that path, then your option would be just to stay with what you're doing. In most situations, somebody who's gotten to this place in the conversation with you, though, life itself is not working on the current path. But we're going to lay it up there because ultimately it is an option, and many people continue to do the same thing over and over and over again without any change in result. Right? Why? Because they don't see any other option. Everything below this line isn't even available to them in their perception. What they see is the current path. So as I've illuminated and assisted them in the process of instruction and inspiration, and I've created now this trust and connection, and we're going into the invitation, I may offer this up and say, well, one of the things you could do is you could keep doing the same thing. Totally an option. And if that occurs, we know what the result will be. A second choice is you could choose a path, and this could be a new path, and this new path is with me. Or it's with using my product that I'm inviting you to use. It's using the service I'm inviting you to use. Or it's using the experience I'm inviting you to use. And in that space, we can assume that there's going to be a result that won't necessarily be better, but is going to be different. Now, as Douglas Andrew, who wrote the book Misfortune, says, better is not always different, but different is always better. That is not the right statement. Yes, it is. Different is not always better. Better is always different. That's true, I think. My brain is totally fried. I've been like in massive video today. It's all good. The point is that this outcome itself, it may work for them, it may not. But we know for certain that something's got to be different than what they've done. That better is not always different. It's not always something that we're doing that's different, but to create something better is going to be different than what the current situation is. Just change does not necessarily make things better. I can change my relationship, my spouse or my wife or my husband, and it's not going to mean that my marriage is going to be any better. But we know that to create something better, it's got to be different than what the current status is. So I offer up the second phase. The third option then is for them to get into a space and a place of an alternate option. And this alternate option is with someone else. Now this takes some serious courage. And it takes some certainty in your process and your experience to be willing to offer up a competitor as an option. So a person could come in and say, well, you could work with me, you could stay in your current path, or you could work with this person over here, or you could work with this organization. In cell phones, you could come and you could stay with your current carrier, say you're with Verizon. You could work with T-Mobile if I was representing T-Mobile, or you could work with AT&T. When we create these as options this direction, what we create for people is the possibility to choose. So the last phase then of invitation is about clearly laying out the pros and the cons and the opportunities in staying with their current path, choosing a new path with me, or creating an alternate path and working with somebody different than me. Could even be one of my competitors. So I hope you've enjoyed this entire segment of what it is to be an authentic influencer and what it is to learn how to inspire, to instruct, and invite. Tune into the last session as I wrap up the whole conversation.